Okay. So before I start the lesson, I just want to ask you all something. How many groups do you have? How many groups in a periodic table do you have? 8 groups, remember. So now write the groups. So you have here, you have 1 group, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So always remember you have 8 groups. Then how many periods do you have? Can you answer me? How many periods do you have in the periodic table? Very good. That's correct. So you have 4 periods, right? So you have 8 groups. And how many periods do you have? You have 4 periods. That's good, right? Okay, now let's see. Okay. Okay. Hasna Samad, can you help me to fill this periodic table, Hasna? Hasna, you can unmute yourself now. Can you help me to fill this periodic table? Mirfat, can you help me to fill this periodic table, Mirfat? Please answer, then only the session will be interesting.
Hydrogen.
Okay, yes, hydrogen.
Helium.
Helium, good.
Lithium.
Lithium.
Beryllium. Boron. Carbon. Nitrogen. Oxygen. Fluorine. Neon. Sodium. Magnesium. Aluminium. Silicon. Phosphorus. Chlorine.
No. Phosphorus.
Sulfur.
Good.
Chlorine. Argon. Potassium.
Very good, right? So this is the periodic table. So I want to remind you all, if you don't know the periodic table, you don't know science, right? So if you're a person who have not still memorized the periodic table, please make sure to memorize it today, right? So this is your final day to memorize the periodic table. So please make sure to memorize it, right? So you should draw the periodic table. So I hope everyone has drawn the periodic table. And then write down the valencies. So now there is a pattern for the valencies, right? So you start with +1. Now this is from the 3rd lesson of grade 10. So I hope every one of you have studied it, right? But if you have not still studied, it's okay. You can understand this. So you start, what you do is you start the valency with +1. So you increase. So you have here +1. So the group 2, the valency would be +2. Group 3, the valency should be +3. Group 4, it can have 2 valencies. One is +4 or -4. Then group 5, the valency would be -3. Now you reduce. Now you have gone up to +4, then -4, right? So now you go with minus. So minus you reduce, right? -3, -2, -1, 0. So this pattern you should know again, right? So if you don't know this, we can't do today's lesson. That's why I just want to remind you all so that you know, right? So how does the valency go? You start with +1 and you go up to +4, right? Right? You go up to +4, then you have -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, right? So that is the periodic table. So please write it down in your writing book because we will need this later, right? We will need this later, right? Now come. Now look. Now say for an example, you have a reaction, right? Say you have magnesium, right? You have magnesium. It's going to react with hydrochloric acid, right? You have magnesium. Magnesium is going to react with who? Hydrochloric acid. So now can you say me the valency of magnesium? Can you say me the valency of magnesium? Soon, I want you all to answer. What is the valency of magnesium? Now you have drawn the periodic table. So please look at the periodic table and let me know what should be the valency of magnesium. Very good. The valency of magnesium should be +2, right? Valency of magnesium should be +2. Now, when you look at hydrochloric acid, so this hydrochloric acid is made up of 2 atoms. This is hydrogen atom and this is chlorine atom. So can you say me the valency of hydrogen atom, everyone? So what is the valency of hydrogen atom? Very good. Hydrogen can have a valency of H plus, right? +1. Then, what is the valency of chlorine? Can you look at the periodic table and say me the valency of chlorine? Very good. That's correct. Chlorine, the valency will be -1 again, right? Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. There are some students who are finding it difficult to join it. Give me 1 minute, okay? Sorry. Okay, so I hope everyone got the link right. Okay, now look, sorry for that. Okay, let's start. So now here, look, you have H plus ions and you have Cl minus ion, right? You have H plus and Cl minus ion. So now look here. Now this is plus, no. So plus, will it get attracted towards minus, or plus will get attracted towards plus? Plus will get attracted towards minus, or plus will get attracted towards plus? Just imagine. Opposite sex, say you have a boy and a girl. Boy get attracted towards the girl, or the girl get attracted toward the girl. Opposite charges attract, or same charges attract? Opposite, right? So that means always the plus will get attracted towards the minus, right? So when there is a chemical reaction, so what will happen? This magnesium is going to react with chlorine. This magnesium is going to react with who? Chlorine. So now let's see what is the chemical formula it will form. So that this also you have studied in grade 10 unit 3, but let's revise it again. So you have magnesium, the valency is +2. You have chlorine, the valency is -1. The first thing you should do is you should forget about the charge. When you are writing a chemical formula, the first thing, what should you do? Forget about the charge. Then what should you do is, you interchange the valency, right? Interchange the valency. You give 1 for magnesium, you give 2 for chlorine, right? So that means, so what will be the chemical formula? So when you give 1 for magnesium and 2 for chlorine, what will be the chemical formula? Mg. Now you don't write this one, okay? If it is a 1, you don't write it. So MgCl2, right? MgCl2. So that means if magnesium combined with chlorine, it's going to form MgCl2 plus. What's remaining now? What's remaining now? This magnesium has combined with chlorine. So what is remaining addition to that? Very good. You have hydrogen remaining. So you have hydrogen atom remaining, but remember, hydrogen can't be found as an atom in the nature, right? You don't have hydrogen atom in the nature. So hydrogen, you always find it as a molecule. What molecule? You have 2 hydrogens combined together to form H2 gas. So remember that atoms like chlorine, you don't have chlorine atom in the nature. Cl2, you have a chlorine molecule. Then oxygen, you don't have oxygen atom in the nature, you have O2. Then nitrogen, you don't have nitrogen atom in the nature, you have N2. So same like that, when you take hydrogen, you don't have hydrogen atom in the nature, then what do you have? You have molecule. So what is the molecule that can be formed by hydrogen? H2 gas. H2 gas. So here you have magnesium solid and HCl aqueous. Now remember, if it is aqueous, it means it has dissolved in water, right? If you don't know that, write it down. Aqueous means if you have a substance which has dissolved in water, that you call it as aqueous. Then it will form magnesium chloride aqueous. Again, what do you mean by aqueous? Can you repeat what I told you? What do you mean by aqueous? Yes. It has dissolved in what? It has dissolved in water. Very good, right? So aqueous means, remember, it has dissolved in water, right? And this is a gas. Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question. Do you want to memorize this equation? Do you want to know how to write the equation? Now, most of the students, they try to memorize the equation. Don't do that, right? Why? Because you will get it wrong. Ultimately, you will get it wrong. So always remember, when you have an equation, you can form the equation. So how did I form? I'll explain it again. How did I form? I formed, now here you know magnesium. When we wrote the periodic table, we found out the valency of magnesium is +2. So you write that. Then you compare hydrochloric acid. So you have hydrogen and chlorine. So hydrogen always hydrogen the valency is +1. Chlorine the valency is -1. Then what should you think? Okay. So you have plus and minus. So plus will combine with plus, or plus will combine with minus. Okay, plus will combine with minus. So then you do, okay, the valency of magnesium is 2, 1. So first you forget about the signs, right? Then you interchange the valency. Then you will get the formula as MgCl2 plus what's remaining? You have hydrogen atom remaining. So if you have 2 hydrogen atoms combined together, it will form the H2 gas. Is this equation clear? Is there anyone who didn't understand this equation? If yes, please let me know. Is there anyone who didn't understand this equation? Okay, so I hope everyone is clear with this, because understood, yes, okay, right, okay, good. Now look here. Now let's go to the heading of today's lesson, right? So I just want to make sure you understood this before I go to the heading of today's lesson. So what is the heading? Rate of reaction. So let's go there now, right? Now say for an example, you take a test tube, right? You take a test tube. And inside the test tube, you add magnesium, right? You know, remember, magnesium is a silver color strip, right? It's a solid. You have added magnesium solid. Then after you add magnesium solid, now what are you going to add according to that equation? According to that equation, what are you going to add? You're going to add, very good, you're going to add hydrochloric acid, right? You're going to add hydrochloric acid to this magnesium strip, right? So let me write the equation again. So you have magnesium solid. So what are you going to do? You're going to add hydrochloric acid, which is aqueous. What do you mean by aqueous again? Can you say me? What do you mean by aqueous? So you don't forget it. Remind yourself again and again. What is aqueous? Dissolved in water. Very good. That's correct. Dissolved in water. So what is it going to form? As I showed you before, it will form magnesium chloride aqueous, and it will liberate hydrogen gas. And it will liberate hydrogen gas. Now see. So when you add magnesium, when you add hydrochloric acid to magnesium, what is happening? Automatically, this magnesium is combining with chlorine to form magnesium chloride, right? Okay, now y'all think. Don't be listening to me. Don't wait until I open the banana and give it to you eat. So you also think, okay, science is like you should be a scientist. You should think always, okay, what will happen after this? What of this? What of this? That should be your idea, right? So now y'all think, now here you have magnesium solid. But after the reaction, do you have any solids? Do you have any solids? Please, please make sure that you don't on your cameras, right? I know you're beautiful, but please make sure you don't on it, right? Okay, okay, look. I forgot to say you one thing before I go. Look here, I forgot to say you all one thing. Now listen here. So here you had magnesium, you're adding hydrochloric acid, right? So here this you have magnesium solid, but on this side, do you have magnesium solid? Do you have any solid on this side? No. So what will happen to this magnesium strip? When it is reacting, this magnesium strip should dissolve in water to form magnesium chloride. Am I correct? This magnesium strip should dissolve in water and it should form magnesium chloride. So now you all say me, what will happen to this magnesium solid? What will happen? It will disappear. This solid will disappear, right? And it's going to combine with chlorine and form magnesium chloride, which is aqueous. What do you mean by aqueous? It has dissolved in water. That's correct. It has dissolved in water. So now you all say me, so what happens is this magnesium strip will disappear, right? Will disappear. Next question I want to ask you. Can you see the magnesium chloride? Can you see the magnesium chloride? Yes or no? Can you see the magnesium chloride? Just imagine, you have a cup of water, you add sugar until it dissolves. So after it dissolves, can you see the sugar? After it dissolves, can you see the sugar? No, you can't see the sugar. So same like that. After this magnesium strip dissolved in water, can you identify magnesium chloride? You can't. You can't say, here you have magnesium chloride. You know, here you have water. You can't say that because it's fully dissolved. You can't identify, right? So, but now look. Now this is what? Now you have hydrogen and that is what? It is a gas. You have hydrogen and it is a gas. So what do you mean by gas? Gas, now say example, you take a soda bottle, right? So you know you have carbon dioxide gas inside the soda bottle, right? How can you see the carbon dioxide gas? Like what do you see the carbon dioxide gas? As bubbles, right? As bubbles. So same like that, when the reaction is taking place here, what is it going to form? It is going to form some bubbles. Am I correct? It is going to form some bubbles. Okay, so yeah, so this is hydrogen gas will be formed, right? Now listen. Now after the reaction, do you have magnesium and hydrochloric acid? After the reaction, now say all has been converted. So do you have magnesium and hydrochloric acid after the reaction? No, you don't have, right? So that means what has happened to the substance? What has happened to the substance? They have undergone some change, right? They have undergone some change. The magnesium and hydrochloric acid, they have changed to form magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas. Am I correct? Am I correct? The magnesium and hydrochloric acid has changed, has undergone change to form magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas, right? So this substance, you call them as the reactants. What do you call them as? Reactants. So what is a reactant? Listen to me carefully. Don't try to memorize, okay? I'm saying this again. Don't try to memorize. What is a reactant? So now you think, okay, now this chemical reaction took place. During that, what happened? Magnesium chloride and hydrochloric acid underwent some change. So those you call them as whom? Reactants. So what is a reactant? A substance which undergoes change during a chemical reaction, right? So this is a chemical reaction that is taking place. And during that, what is happening? These substances are undergoing some change, right? So that you call them as what? reactants. Then what happened? You're forming at the start of the reaction. Did you have magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas when the reaction started? Do you have magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas? No, you don't have. So that means this is a new substance which is formed, right? You have formed something new. So that you call it as the product. That you call it as what? Product, right? So what is a reactant? The chemicals which undergo change during a chemical reaction. What is a product? The new substance. You're forming something new. The new substance which is formed, you call it as the product. So did you understand what is a reactant and what is a product? Is that clear? Is that clear? Did you understand what is a reactant and what is a product? Okay, now listen. Okay, everyone, repeat with me, make some noise. Repeat with me, make some noise, right? What is a reactant? You should think. Don't try to memorize. Think. Okay, you have some chemicals. It's going to undergo change. So you call that as the reactant. So you start. So what is a reactant? The chemicals which undergo change during a chemical reaction. Then you know, when this undergo change, you're forming something new, right? So then what is the product? The new substance which is formed, you call it as the product. So is that very clear? Any doubt regarding reactant and product? Any doubt regarding reactant and product? Yes? No? Okay, that's good. Right. Now listen. Now let's come to this word rate of a reaction. Okay, let's come to the word rate of a reaction. And here, students, listen to me. If you have any doubt, leave me a message. It's okay how many times I repeat it to you. But the main thing is, before you go from the class, you should make sure that you understood it perfectly. Right? That's the main point. So make sure you understand it before you leave the class. Okay, I'll explain you one more time. Right. Now look here. Now you are here. What you had is, you had some magnesium strip. And you had hydrochloric acid, right? Then during a chemical reaction, what is happening? The whole thing is changing into magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas, right? So first you should see what you mean by reactant. What is a reactant? The substances, you have substances. What happened to those substances? They underwent change. Right? So the substances which undergo change in a chemical reaction, you call it as the reactant. Then what is the product? Product means, now what is happening? You're forming something new. So what is the product? The new substance which is formed, you call it as the product. Right? So I hope it is clear. Right. Now look. Now let's come to the word rate of a reaction. Right? Rate of a reaction. Now, before I go any further, remember, the word rate means anything, any magnitude, you divide it by time, right? Something happening in a unit time. That you call it as rate of a reaction. Something divided by time. Okay, now I'll ask you a doubt which I have. Okay, so what is rate of velocity? Now, if someone says you, okay, can you write the equation for rate of velocity? So how will you write it? Now, that is acceleration, I know. I'm asking you the equation. Rate of velocity. Now, I told you, right? What do you mean by the word rate? Rate means anything divided by time. So, rate of velocity means, what are you going to divide by time? What are you going to divide by time? Very good. Velocity divided by time. If I say you rate of displacement, what should be your answer? What is rate of displacement? What is rate of displacement? If I say you to write an equation, how are you going to write the equation? Very good. Displacement divided by time. Displacement divided by time. Rate of displacement means displacement divided by time. Again, if I say you rate of distance. How are you going to write it? Rate of distance. Its speed, I know. If I want to write it as an equation form, so how should I write it? Very good. It's distance divided by time. So did you understand? So whenever you get the word rate, it means you have a value and you're going to divide it by time. Did you understand that? Did you understand that? Right. Good. Okay. Now let's go to the next point. Right. So here it's a rate of a reaction. So you know it's going to divide by time. Let's see what is happening. Right. Now look here. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Okay, good. Right. That's good. Okay, right. Okay, now look here. Look here. Now, when you have this reaction, okay, when you have this reaction, can you all hear me? Is it clear now? Is it clear? I think that I had a small connection problem. Is it clear now? Okay, right. Now come. So now when you say the rate of a reaction, right? Okay, now let's see what is that. Before you go there, now what are the two observations that you see here? Now, before you answer, I want to say you something. Before you answer, listen to me. Observation means what you see. Remember that. What is observation? Observation means it is always what you see. What is the first thing you saw? What is the first thing? Now, initially you had magnesium here. So what is the first thing you saw? First thing, before the gas evolved, what happened? What is the first thing you saw? What happened to this magnesium? What happened to this magnesium? That's correct. Very good. The magnesium strip dissolved. That is the first thing you saw. Is everyone clear with that? The magnesium strip, it disappeared. It dissolved. It disappeared. That is the first thing you saw. Then after that, after the magnesium strip disappeared, what did you see? What did you see? Very good. You had some gas bubbles coming out, right? So in the exam, if they ask you what are the two observations you saw here, what should be your answer? The magnesium strip disappeared and gas bubbles evolved, right? Gas bubbles evolved, right? Okay, now look. So magnesium, is it the reactant or is it the product? Now, if you have, before you had a magnesium strip, so magnesium strip, is it the reactant or the product? It's a reactant. So are you using the reactant? Now, during a chemical reaction, what is happening to the reactant? Are you using it or are you producing it? What are you doing? You're using it, right? When you're using the reactants, what is happening to the product? What are you doing? Are you using the product or are you producing the product? What are you doing? Very good. You're producing the product, right? So when a chemical reaction is taking place, the reactants are used and the product is produced. Did you understand that? When you have a chemical reaction taking place, you have the reactants which are used and you have the product which is produced, right? So rate of a reaction means the amount of change, right? The amount of change occurring in a unit time, right? The amount of change occurring in a unit time. So how many changes is occurring here? Now, rate of a reaction means the amount of change. A reaction means it's a change, right? From the reactant, you're forming the product. So how many changes is taking place here? How many changes is taking place? Now, rate of a reaction means the amount of change the amount of change in a particular time period, right? Okay, now look. So how many change how many change does occur here? 2 change, right? What is the first change? What is the first change? Magnesium disappears. That is the first change. What is the second change? Gas bubbles evolve. Right. So that means, magnesium is a reactant. So what happened to the reactant? Did the reactant be used up or did the reactant be produced? What happened to the reactant? Yes, the reactant was used up. What happened to the product? What happened to the product? The product was produced. Very good. The product was produced. So this rate of a reaction means what? Can you repeat with me? What is the rate of a reaction? The amount of change occurring in a particular time. So how many types of change is taking place? 2 types. So you can say rate of a reaction is the reactants, the amount of reactants used in a particular time. Or you have another change. What is the other change that is taking place? So other change is rate of a reaction is equal to the amount of product produced in a particular time. Product produced in a particular time. Let me explain you one more time. Listen to me. Now, what is rate of a reaction? Everyone say with me. What is rate of a reaction? Rate of a reaction means what? The amount of change occurring in a particular time, in a unit time, right? The amount of change occurring in a unit time. So the word rate means you should divide by time. Then you should think, okay, what are the 2 types of changes that is taking place? One is the magnesium strip is disappearing. So that means in that process, what is happening? The magnesium is the reactant. So the reactant, what is happening to the reactant? The reactant is used. So one type of the change is, now you say it's the amount of change, right? So amount of change, one type of it is amount of reactants used in a particular time, right? And then what is the next one? The next one is, what is happening? The product is produced, right? The product is produced. So that means what is the other change? The amount of product produced in a particular time. So come again. What is the rate of a reaction? Say with me. Repeat with me so you will remember it more. So what is the rate of reaction? The amount of change occurring in a particular time. The amount of change occurring in a unit time. Then you should think, how many types of changes are there? 2 types. So how many equations you can write? You can write 2 equations, right? You can write 2 equations. So first equation is, what is the first thing? What's the first change? The reactant is used. So you can say rate of a reaction is equal to the amount of reactants used in a particular time. The next one, what is the rate of a reaction? You can write the other change. What is the other change? Once the reactant is used, you're producing something. So what are you producing? You're producing the product. So you can say the amount of product produced in a particular time. Is that clear? Is that clear? Now, in the exam, if they ask you the definition for rate of a reaction, you should say the amount of change occurring in a unit time. If they ask you the equation, you can write 2 equations. One is the reactants used in a particular time, and the other one is the amount of product produced in a particular time. There are 2 students who are always owning the video. So if you on it again, I will remove you from the group. So before I do that, can you switch off the video by yourself so that I don't remove you from the group? Can you do that, please? Okay. Right. Okay. Is this clear? Is this clear? Any doubt? Okay, good. Right. Now let's revise the things we have studied up to now. Let's revise it. Everyone, make some noise. It's okay whether your family people think, ah, she's just shouting. It's okay. Make some noise, right? Show them you're studying, right? Your mama will be so happy, right? So make some noise. Now the first thing, what is the reactant? Can you all answer me? Everyone, answer me in chat. I'm waiting for your answers. What is a reactant? What is a reactant? Okay, let's take a 2-minute break. Please go have some water and come back. Let's take a 2 minutes break. Okay, so what is a reactant? Let's revise it. What is a reactant? Reactant is the chemical which undergo change during a chemical reaction. So what is a product? Right, next one we studied. What is a product? Can you revise with me? What is a product? The new substance which is formed, you call it as the product. The new substance which is formed, you call it as the product. Then we studied the definition for rate of a reaction. So what do you mean by the word rate? Can someone say me? What do you mean by the word rate? You divide anything by time, right? You divide anything by time. So what is the rate of a reaction? So rate of a reaction, what is the definition? The amount of change occurring in a unit time. The amount of change occurring in a unit time. So how many types of changes you can have? How many types of changes you can have? Very good. You have 2 types of changes. So can you say me the 2 types of change? The first type is amount of what? It's the amount of change. So this is amount of reactant. What? Reactant. Very good. The amount of reactant used in a particular time, right? The amount of reactant used in a particular time. Then next one, what is the other type of change? So rate of a reaction is equal to, you have another type of change. Can you say me? Very good. The amount of product produced, right? The amount of product produced in a particular time. The amount of product produced in a particular time. So is it clear up to here? Is it clear up to here? Anyone who has a doubt up to this part can raise your hand. I can unmute you and you can ask your doubt. Anyone who has a doubt up to this part, can you raise your hand? Others, put your hands down. Others, put your hands down. Please come with your real name. Right. So let's, yes, Aisha Rizan, you can unmute yourself now. What's your doubt? Aisha? Aisha, you can unmute yourself now. Aisha, can you unmute yourself? Zahra, what's your doubt, dear? Zahra? Zahra? If you don't have doubt, please put your hands down. Sajida, what's your doubt? Sajida? Shuhada, what's your doubt?
Madam, can you explain the formation of magnesium and hydrochloric acid again?
The reaction. Okay, let's see. Zainab Zuhri, what's your doubt? Zainab Zuhri.
Teacher, can you explain this, what you have showed now? I didn't understand that.
This is the short note of what we studied up to now, dear. Which part of this didn't you understand? Yes, Zainab? Zainab? Okay. Nushka, what's your doubt, dear? Nushka?
Miss, all are clear, but what's the mean rate, please?
Rate, when you say the word rate, it is a value you divide it by time. Now, rate of a reaction. You are going to divide something by time. So the word rate means it's a value you divide it by time. Now, if I say rate of distance, it means distance divided by time. Rate of displacement, displacement divided by time. Something like that. Okay?
Okay, Miss, clear. Thank you.
Welcome. Sheza? What's your doubt, Sheza? Okay, let's go to the doubts later. Now, one person was asking me to explain the reaction. So I'll explain that soon and then we can go to the next part. Now, look here. Look, everyone. Say you have magnesium. Let's take another examples. Okay. Now, say example, you have aluminium, right? Say you have aluminium. It's going to react with hydrochloric acid, right? You have aluminium and it's going to react with hydrochloric acid, right? Everyone. Can you say me the valency of aluminium? Everyone, can you say me the valency of aluminium? Look at the periodic table which you drew at the beginning of the lesson and let me know the valency of aluminium. Can you? Right, good. Valency of aluminium is +3. That's correct. Good, +3. Then let's look at hydrogen. Can you say me the valency of hydrogen, everyone? What is the valency of hydrogen? Very good, +1. Then chlorine. What's the valency of chlorine? Very good, -1. So now here you have plus and minus. So remember, let me know the plus, will it combine with minus or plus will combine with plus? Who will get attracted towards whom? Very good. Plus will combine with minus. So now you want to write the chemical formula. So you have aluminium, the valency is +3. You have chlorine, the valency is -1. What should you do first? First, forget about the sign. Then you interchange the valency. So if you have 1, you don't put that 1. So that is aluminium. And then you have Cl, the valency is 3. So AlCl3 plus. Okay. So did you all get it up to here? Did you all get it up to here? Okay, good. Then what's remaining? What's remaining? You have hydrogen remaining. So hydrogen, do you have hydrogen atom in the nature? Do you have hydrogen atom in the nature? No hydrogen atom. So that means you will have two hydrogen combined together to form what? H2 gas. So here you have solid, aqueous, and gas. Is it clear? Is it clear? Right, that's good. Right. Now listen. Now this is the final part I want to teach you before we do the question. So listen to me very carefully. Okay? Listen to me very carefully. Now listen. Now say for an example, here you have magnesium. Right? And here you have hydrochloric acid. Right? This is hydrochloric acid. Okay? Just imagine, okay, say here, now you know that when you have the reactants, when the reactants react with each other, what is it going to produce? When the reactants react with each other, what is it going to produce? Answer me soon. I'm waiting for your answer. What is it going to produce? Very good. It's going to produce the product. It's going to produce the product. So if reactants combine with each other, it is going to produce the product. Just imagine you have a mother and a father. Those are the reactants, right? And they are going to produce a baby. So that is the product, right? Baby is the product. Mother and father are the reactants, right? So they are going to combine together to produce the baby. So now you say me, now say you have a girl and you have a boy. Now this girl is in Matara. This boy is in Colombo. Can they produce a baby? Can they produce a baby? Can they produce a baby? No, they can't produce a baby. What should they do? They should marry each other, right? They should marry each other. That means, now say, I'll take here one reactant is magnesium. You have one product. So what is that product? The product you're having is hydrochloric acid. So if magnesium is present in one container and hydrochloric acid is present in another container, will it undergo a chemical reaction? Will it undergo a chemical reaction? It won't. It won't undergo. So what should you do? You should put this hydrochloric acid into magnesium. Right? You should put this hydrochloric acid into magnesium. So the first thing for a reaction to take place, right? The first thing for a reaction to take place is the reactants should collide with each other. If the reactant is here, if magnesium is here, if hydrochloric acid is here, will it collide with each other? No. So they should come closer and they should collide. Collide means knock onto each other, right? They should collide onto each other. So that is the first condition for a reaction to take place. For a reaction to take place, what should happen? The reactants should collide with each other, right? Okay, now say this is the girl. We'll come back to that example. So chlorine is the boy and this is the boy's family, right? This is the boy's family. So now this girl should collide with the family or should collide with the boy? She should collide with the boy. The collision should take place, right? Then what will happen? Now, after this one, what will happen? This magnesium will combine with whom? This magnesium will combine with chlorine. This magnesium will combine with chlorine, right? So that means what should happen to this bond? What should happen to this bond? Can that bond stay as it is? Or should that bond break? Now, when a person marries, mostly the man always will go to the wife's side, no? So, should that bond break or should that bond stay as it is? This bond should break, right? So, what is the condition? The first condition is the reactants should collide with each other. Because of this collision, the bond should be broken, right? So once the bond is broken, only then magnesium can combine with chlorine. Did you all understand? Did you all understand? Is it clear? Is it clear? Right? So what is it? What is the first condition? What is the condition for a reaction to occur? The reactants should collide with each other, right? The reactants should collide with each other. So if there is a collision only, the reaction can happen. And what is the other thing? The energy should be able to break the bond. When you're colliding, you're producing energy, right? So this energy should be able to break the bond. So what is the condition? Can you repeat with me? So for a reaction to happen, the reactants should collide with each other, right? The reactions should collide with each other, and the energy should be enough to break the bond, right? The energy should be enough to break the bond. Is it clear? Is it clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? Right. So in the exam, they can ask you, what is the condition that should take place for a reaction to happen? So what should you say? The reactants should collide with each other, and the energy should be enough to what? It should be enough to, the energy should be enough to break the bond. So is this clear? Collide means knock. Collide means it should knock onto each other. This is collision, right? So it should knock onto each other. And the other thing is, so due to this collision, the energy should be enough to break the bond, right? The energy should be enough to break the bond. Is it clear? Is it clear? Right. Now take out your tute, everyone. Take out your tute. Right. Take out your tute. Yes. And start doing, I'll give you 5 minutes, okay? Start doing question number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do question number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Can you all do it soon? So then you can have a 5 minutes break after that. So do it soon. And when you're writing the answer, make sure you write it without seeing the book. Why? Then you don't need to study it again. It's like perfectly everything is there in your head. Now make sure you try your best. Try your best to write it without seeing the book. Okay? But if you can't, you can refer. But the best is to write it by yourself. Okay. Do it. I'll give you 5 minutes. After that, we can discuss the answers, and then we can have a 5-minute break. Okay? The tute is there in the group. I have sent the tute to the group. Teacher, should we have to use only hydrochloric acid, or others can also be explained? Yeah, you can explain the others also. Any reaction. You can explain it by using any reactions, right? So I have used here hydrochloric acid. Doesn't mean you should always use hydrochloric acid, right? Okay, if you are not in the group, please use this, which I'm screen sharing for now. And after the session is over, leave me a message. I will send you the tute, okay? Just use this for now. Today itself only I understood the lesson perfectly. I am happy to hear. Thank you, Atif. Leave me a message in WhatsApp. I will send you the tune. This is my phone number 077 2345 597. So once you are done, please raise your hands so I can see how many of you all have finished. So once you are done, please raise your hands. If you all have finished writing the answers, you can raise your hand. Again, I'm saying try to write your own answers, right? So that will be very helpful for you all. Very helpful. Write your own answers. I do only English medium classes, no Tamil medium, only English medium. I will let you know the class details in a while. Can you all do the question soon? Because there is no time. I have to explain more. Okay, 72 students have finished. What about the others? Yeah, so you should do 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Do 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not talking. Do the questions. I'm waiting until you all finish doing the questions. I'm waiting for you all. So once you are done, raise your hand. Okay, so half of you all have finished. So I hope that's enough time to write the answers. So now let's discuss the answers, right? Let's discuss the answers. Right, the first question they're asking you to define reactance. So now take out your red pen and correct your own answers, right? So do it with a red pen. Now some people, if I get it wrong, I will soon tipex it, write it with the blue color pen and correct. No, don't do that, right? When you write the answers and when you correct it with the red pen, if you go wrong, then you will remember in the exam time, this was in a red color. Why I went wrong that time? So that will be there in your head for a long time. One of my teachers used to say, your book should be with red color so that you can keep it near your wedding, what do you say, that throne, right? So as light, it should be red color. So that's how you learn, right? So don't think, okay, if I do this, my book will become ugly. No, don't think like that, okay? Right. So what is reactance? So take out your red pen and correct your answers. So reactance is the chemical substance that undergoes change during a chemical reaction, right? So the chemical substance that undergo change during a chemical reaction. So the next one, they're asking you to write what is a product. So what is a product? The new substance formed during a chemical reaction, right? The new substance which is formed during a chemical reaction, you call it as the product, right? Then question number 2, they're asking you to write the definition for rate of reaction. So what is the definition for rate of reaction? The amount of change occurring in a unit time, or you can say particular time. Unit, or you can use the word particular time. The amount of change occurring in a unit time. The next one, they are asking you to write the two equations for rate of a reaction. So what are the two equations? Rate of reaction equals, so what are the two types of changes? So the first change is amount of reactant used divide by time. What is the second change? The amount of product produced divide by time, right? So if you have written these two equations, then your answer is correct. So rate of reaction is equal to amount of reactant used divide by time, or the amount of product produced divide by time, right? Then the final question is, what is the condition that should be satisfied for a chemical reaction to take place? So what is the condition? The reactants should what? Should collide with each other. They should knock onto each other, right? The reaction should collide with each other. Then the next one, the energy should be enough for what? Enough to break the bond. The energy should be enough to break the bond. Okay, so now take a 5 minutes break and be here by 8:50. Don't leave the group, right? So just take a 5 minutes break. If you want to eat and come. Be here by 8:50. Yeah, this is the answer for the fourth one, right? So the reactants should collide with each other. So that is one condition. The other condition is the energy should be enough to break the bond, right? If it collides slowly, will the reaction take place? If it collides and if the energy is not enough to break the bond, will the reaction take place? No, right? So remember, these two conditions should be satisfied. Now in A level, you will study another condition, right? That is not there in O level, so I didn't consider that. But remember these two, right? Okay, so if you have any doubt now until others come back after taking the break, if you have any, okay, I'll say this again because I want the students who are going through the recording also to know, right? So if you all are interested in joining my classes, this is the monthly fee. So the grade 10, the monthly fee would be 1,200, and the grade 11, the monthly fees would be 1,400. So if you are joining for grade 10, you will get the paper class for free if you are a grade 10 student. If you are joining for grade 11, if you are a grade 11 student, you will get the grade 10 fee class free, as well as you will get the paper class free. So each session, so the grade 10 session would be a 3-hour session, and you will have a half an hour break in between. Same goes to grade 11. It's a 3-hour session, and you will have a half an hour break in between. So I'll let you know detailedly about the paper class. So paper class, what we do is every week, or now I have thought to do it every other week. Every other week, we are going to have an exam. Now, why is that? Because if you just study the theory, that's not enough. That's not enough for you to do your O-level paper. Because even though if you study the theory, if you don't know to apply it to the questions, now that's where most of you all go wrong. Now you're saying, Miss, I studied the whole book. I went to the exam, but see, will you miss, my marks is just 43. Right? So that's where you go wrong. So that's why I have kept an exam every 1 week. After 1 week, I'm going to do it from this week. Before, I was giving it every week. And on Sunday, we will be discussing the paper. The exam you do, we will discuss it, and we will put marks for that, and you can see your improvement, how much you're improving, how are you going forward. So all of this you can identify by doing the paper class. That's why I gave it free. You know why I gave it free? Because I don't want my students to give excuses saying that, Miss, I can't join the paper class, I have financial problem, I can't do this. I don't want that excuse, right? So that's why I have given the paper class free, because I want all of my students to join the paper class. All, right? So I want all of the students who are attending my class to join the paper class, because my target is to get an A for y'all, right? Y'all should get an A. So I'm giving my best for y'all to get an A. So if you join my class, the paper class is a must. You should attend that as well. Why I'm saying that is, if you do that only, you can get an A, right? Studying the theory will not get you to places, right? So you should do the paper as well. So that's all I want to say about my classes. So let's go back to the lesson. Right. If you can't join only for the paper class, because I want only my students to join the paper class, right? So if you want to only join the paper class, that's not possible, right? Okay, now look. So now we are going to study about the factors that affect the rate of a reaction, right? Factors that affect the rate of a reaction, right? So when you're studying this, don't try to memorize, understand and study, right? Look, reaction. Okay, look, first one. The first factor is surface area, right? What is the first factor? Surface area. Before we go any further, first let's understand what is surface area. Now, what is surface area? The area to the surface. Now, say this is a substance. This, the area which is facing the surface. So, you call that as the surface area, right? So, what is surface area? The area which is facing the surface, you call it as surface area. So, did everyone get that? Did everyone get that? The area which is facing the surface, you call it as surface area, right? Okay, now look. So now say for an example, you have a larger cuboid. Say it's a cube, right? Say you have a cube, right? And then here you have a small, this larger cube, right? this larger cube, you divide it into 8 pieces, right? You divide it into 8 pieces to form 8 small cubes, right? To form 8 small cubes. Which one will have a large surface area? My question is, which one out of these will have a large surface area? The first one or the second one? The first one or the second one? Let's look, we'll do some calculations and let's see which one is having the larger surface area, right? Now just imagine this is a cube and the length of this cube is say 4 centimeter, right? The length of this cube is how many centimeter? 4 centimeter, right? Now what is the area? What is the equation for area? Now this is max. What is the equation for area? Can you all say me the equation for area? Can you all say me the equations for area? Very good. Length into breadth. Now I said you this is a cube. So because of that, what can you say about the length and the breadth? The length and the breadth of a cube is same, right? So if this is 4 centimeter, this also will be 4 centimeter. So what is the area of one side of the cube? What is the area of one side of the cube? 4 into 4. So what is your answer? 16 centimeter square. 16 centimeter square. Did you all understand that? 16 centimeter squared. So that is the area of one side of the cube, right? One side of the cube. Now just imagine this is a cube, okay? How many sides does a cube have? Now this is a cuboid, but for now just imagine it's a cube. So how many sides does a cube have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So a cube is having how many sides? Count with me again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So you have 6 sides. One cube is having 6 sides. So what will be the area, surface area? Now surface area means not only this, no. Surface area means the whole thing. So what should you do? So one side, the surface area is 16. How many sides do you have? One side, the surface area is 16. How many sides do you have? You have 6 sides. So what is your answer? What's your answer? 96 centimeters square, right? So the surface area of this cube is 96 centimeters square. So did you understand that? Did you all understand that? I'll repeat again. Area of one surface is length into breadth. So 4 into 4, 16. Then one cube have how many surface? One cube have 6 surface. So you multiply this by 6, so you will get the answer. Now let's come here. Let's come here. Now you have divided this into 8. No. So what is the length here of this one? You have divided this whole cube into 8. So if this is 2, what is from here to here? 4. What is here? 2. Here also 2, right? So here also 2, right? So now let's see what is the surface area for one cube, one small cube, right? So what is the equation for area? Area is equal to length into breadth. So what is the length? What is the length? 2 into 2. So what is the area of one side of the small cube? One side of the small cube, what is the area? 4 centimeters squared, right? 4, it's squared, 4 centimeters squared. Okay. How many sides does this small cube have? How many sides does this small? Now just imagine this is the small one. So how many sides do you have? Now one side is 4 centimeters squared. How many sides do you have? 6. So if you are finding the whole surface area, so one side is 4. That means if you want to find the whole surface, so 4 you should multiply by what? 6. So what is the answer? What is the answer? 24. 24 centimeters squared. So that is for one cube, right? One cube, the surface area is 24 centimeters squared. How many cubes do you have? How many cubes did you cut this into? How many cubes did you cut this into? 4 or 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many? 8. So 1 cube is 24 centimeters squared. So if it is 8 cubes, you should multiply by 8. So what will be your answer? What will be your answer? 192 centimeters squared. So now look, this cube, if it is 1 cube, the large one, the surface area is 96. But if it is small 8 cubes, the surface area is 192. What has happened? Which one is having a high surface area? The smaller one or the larger one? The smaller one, right? Now you don't need to know this calculation. I showed you this calculation to make sure you understand that the smaller one has a larger surface area, right? Has a larger surface area. Is that clear? Is that clear? Is that clear? Good, right. Now look. Now look. Now you have a larger square, right? You have a larger square, a cube, larger cube. So now you say, now this is magnesium, right? So now here you have hydrochloric acid, which is coming and colliding. Now you know that for a reaction to happen, the reactants should collide with each other, right? The reaction should collide with each other. Okay. So now you have smaller one. You have cut this into smaller ones like this. Okay. Right. So now the reactants can also go inside here and it can collide. Right. Now think and say, okay, where is the collision high? The first one or the second one? Where is it colliding more? Now in the first one, only the outer surface it's colliding. In the second one, in between also it can collide, right? So where is the collision high? Is the collision high in the first situation or is the collision high in the second situation? Where is the collision high? Very good. The collision is high in the second situation, right? So now you all say me, you have two reactants. If more of them are colliding with each other, more reaction will take place. Or if more of them are less colliding with each other, more reaction will take place, in which the rate of reaction will be high. Now, rate of reaction depends on the amount of collision, right? Amount of collision, right? So now you say here you have high amount of collision. Here you have less amount of collision. Less people are colliding. So now you say me, will you produce more babies when more people collide? Or will you produce more babies when less people collide? In which situation do you produce more babies? Second one, right? So that means when the surface area is high, the amount of collision, is it high or low? Is the amount of collision high or low? Here is the amount of collision high or low? High. Then what will happen to the rate of the reaction? Will this reaction occur faster or will this reaction occur faster? Which one will occur fast? This one, right? So that means the rate of reaction will be high. The rate of reaction will be high. Okay? Listen again. Listen again. I'll explain again. Look here. Look here. Now you have a larger piece here. Okay? Larger piece here. So when you have a larger piece, only the surrounding, say this is the larger piece, only this surrounding will be in contact with hydrochloric acid, right? Only this surrounding will be in contact with hydrochloric acid. So now if you have chemicals coming and attacking here, only on this surface, the chemicals will come and attack, right? Then just imagine you break this into 8, right? You break this into 8. So now what? Now inside, if you break it from here, the reactants can collide here, 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 here as well, right? So where will the collision be high? The first situation, the collision will be high, or the collision will be high in the second situation? Where will the collision be high? The first one or the second one? The second one, right? So when the surface area is high, the collisions will be high. Now you say me, if more people, if more mothers and fathers are colliding with each other, they will produce more baby. Or if you have only few fathers and mothers colliding with each other, they will produce more baby. Which one? More baby in the first situation or more baby in the second situation? Second one, right? So when the surface area is high, the number of collisions will be high. So that means the rate of reaction will be high. What can you say here? Here, surface area, is it high or less? Is the surface area high or less? It is less. So the number of collisions will be high or less? The number of collisions will be high or less? Less. Right? So that means the rate of reaction, if the number of collision is less, the rate of reaction will be high or less? Less. Did you all understand? Did you all understand? Is it clear? Right. Okay. Now look. Now say example, you have two test tubes, right? In one test tube, you have magnesium strip, and in the other test tube, you have magnesium powder. Which has high surface area? The first one or the second one? Which one has high surface area? The powder or the strip? Which one is smaller? High surface area. Which one is larger? Less surface area. So which one has high surface area? Very good. The powder. The powder will have high surface area. So if the surface area is high, number of collisions will be high. Then rate of reaction will be high. Here, surface area is less. So number of collision is less. Rate of reaction is less. So you say me, which will disappear first? Now you know the magnesium strip will disappear, right? So which will disappear the first? The magnesium piece or the magnesium powder? Which will disappear first? The powder. Why? You know, if the rate of reaction is high, it will occur very fast. If the rate of reaction is low, it will occur slowly. So if the rate of reaction is high, it occurs faster. So where will the magnesium strip disappear first? Powder or piece? Powder. Did you understand? Is it clear? Is it clear? 100% sure? Can I go to the next part? Because I don't want to go if you don't understand. 100%? Okay, good. Right. Now come to the next point. Right? Come to the next point. Next one is temperature. Right? Next one is temperature. Now imagine. Now you should imagine. Right? If you imagine only, you will understand. Okay? So now say example, you have a substance here. Right? And you have a substance here. Okay? Now say you're here. Right? You're standing here. Someone comes and keeps a hot object under your legs. What will you do? Will you just stay like that? Or will you start to jump here and there? What will you do? Will you start to jump here and there? Or will you just stay like that? You will start to jump, right? You will start to jump. So for this, you should know something called kinetic energy, right? You should know something called kinetic energy. Listen to me. So kinetic energy means the energy stored in a moving object, right? What is kinetic energy? Can you all repeat with me? What is kinetic energy? Repeat with me. The energy stored in a moving object, right? So if you have some energy stored in a moving object, so that type of energy, you call it as what energy? Kinetic energy, right? That type of energy, you call it as what energy? Kinetic energy. So when someone is keeping fire under your legs, is the kinetic energy increasing? Now, if you are moving more, the kinetic energy is increasing. If you are moving less, the kinetic energy is decreasing. You say me, is the kinetic energy increasing or is the kinetic energy decreasing? What is happening? The kinetic energy is increasing, right? When you start to jump, the kinetic energy is increasing, right? Okay. Did you all understand this part? Did you all understand this part? When you're increasing the temperature, what is happening to the kinetic energy? The kinetic energy is also increasing, right? The kinetic energy is also increasing. Right? The kinetic energy is also increasing. Right. Now listen. Now listen. Now say you have two rooms, room 1 and room 2. Right? In this room, right? You have people. So these are people staying in this room. So in this room also, you have the same number of people staying in this room, right? Both the rooms, same amount of people, right? Okay. Now imagine in this room, the work is happening normally, right? The work is happening normally. So the people also, they are moving here and there in a normal speed, in a normal movement. So that means say the kinetic energy, if the movement is low, what can you say about the kinetic energy? Will it be less or will it be high? Now kinetic energy means the energy stored in a moving object. So will the kinetic energy be less or the kinetic energy be high? Less. It will be less. Suddenly, one person, now there is a fire, right? So when you have a fire, the temperature is high or low. When you have a fire, the temperature is high or low. The temperature is high. So suddenly there is a fire and someone hit the fire alarm. Now what will these people do? Will they move very slowly, calmly? Will they move? No, they will run. They will run here and there. They will soon find a way to go out, right? Here and there, however, they will find a way to go out, right? So now you think and say, in which situation will you have more collisions? In which situation people will collide more with each other? First one or the second one? When you are calmly moving or when you are in a rush and you want to run, and which situation do you have a high collision? First one, right? Here the collision will be high, right? Here comparatively the collision will be less. Now say me, what can you say about the rate of reaction? If the collision is high, what can you say about the rate of reaction? Is it high or is it less? Is it high or less? Very good. The rate of reaction also will be high. What can you say about the rate of reaction here? Now most people are just moving. They are not knocking also. So will the reaction take place if they don't collide? No. So rate of reaction will be less. So what can you say? When the temperature is high, kinetic energy is high or less? Kinetic energy is high or less. When you have heat, start to move fast. High. So number of collision will be high. So rate of reaction will be high. When the kinetic energy is, when the temperature is less, kinetic energy is what? Kinetic energy is low. Collisions will be low. So rate of reaction also will be low. So did you all understand this? Is it clear? Is it 100% clear? Now one person is asking, if it is extreme cold, now let's take ice. If it is ice, kinetic energy is high or low? If it is ice, kinetic energy is high or low? Now, if it is ice, the temperature is very, very low, right? So, will the kinetic energy be high or low? Low, right? Kinetic energy will be low. Then what can you say about the rate, number of collision? Number of collision will be low. That means what can you say about the rate of reaction? Rate of reaction will be low. So is it clear? Is it clear? So what is the first thing you studied? First thing you studied is rate of reaction depends on what? Rate of reaction depends on surface area. When the surface area is high, rate of reaction is? When the surface area is high, rate of reaction is high, and vice versa. When it is less, it's less. So here also, when the temperature is high, rate of reaction is high. When the temperature is less, rate of reaction is less. Right? I hope it's clear. Is it clear now? Is it clear, everyone? Okay, good. Right. Now let's go to the next factor, catalyst. Look, catalyst. Catalyst is the next factor. Okay, now I'll say you a story, okay? Very interesting story. Right, look. Now, whenever you say the word catalyst, remember it as a broker. Okay? Whenever they say the word catalyst, remember it as a broker. Not normal broker, not the broker which take money. Just remember it as a family broker. Now, always there is a person in the family, right? There is a person in the family who is like a broker. He or she will always try to set up some marriages. So, she's the broker in the family, right? But if she's a family broker, she don't take money. That is the difference, huh? She don't take money, not like other brokers, right? So who earn very high amount of money, not like them. Just a family broker who doesn't take money. Just imagine that is the catalyst, right? Okay, now look. Now say example again, I'll take the same example. You have a girl who is in Gaul, right? And you have a boy who is in Colombo, right? Who is in Colombo, right? So now these reactants, so these are the reactant, the girl and the boy. So they should come, now they should come closer to each other for a reaction to happen, right? Now you are considering these are the reactants, right? So they should collide with each other for a reaction to happen, right? For a reaction to happen, they should collide with each other, right? Now just imagine this girl is in Gaul and this boy is in Colombo, right? No any connection, no family connection, right? So will it take a less time for this reaction to take place? Or will it take a more time for this reaction to take place? Will it take a less time for this reaction to take place, or will it take more time? Now, Gaul, boy, Colombo, no relationship, nothing. Less or more time? Very high time. Very high time. Maybe sometimes they will not meet also, right? So it will take a very long time for these two people to come together, right? But if you have a broker, this broker go and talks to the girl's family. This broker goes and talks to the boy's family. Okay. Then what will the broker do? They will say, okay, you all also okay, you all also okay. So they will say, okay, then both are okay, and they will take the marriage, right? They will take the marriage, right? So then what will happen? So this broker will make both of these people come in contact with each other, right? And then she will go. She will go, right? Now my question for you is, during this setup, is the broker used? Yes or no? Is the broker used? Is she getting any benefit out of this? Is she getting any benefit out of this? Now, I told you at first itself, it's a family broker, no money involved, right? So, is she getting any benefit out of this? No benefit. No benefit. That means, is the broker used in this reaction? Now, she didn't get any benefit. No. So, did you use the broker in this reaction? No. Right? She is not, you didn't take anything from her. You didn't give anything to her. So, it's not used, right? The broker is not used. Okay? But she did a good thing. What did she do? She did a good thing. What did she do? She made these two people come in closer to each other, right? So, did she increase the rate of a reaction, or did she decrease the rate of a reaction? Did she make this occur faster, this connection? Did she make it take place soon, or did she leave it to take place for a long time? What did she do? Did she increase the rate of a reaction, or did she decrease the rate of a reaction? She increased the rate of a reaction, right? She increased the rate of reaction. So now let's come to the word catalyst. Listen to me. So what is a catalyst? Catalyst is a chemical substance, right? It's a chemical substance that increases the rate of a reaction without themselves being used up. You don't use it, but it increases the rate of reaction. So that's why I always tell, remember the catalyst as a family broker. She made the rate of a reaction to become high, but did she use it? Was it useful to her? Did she use it up? Was she used up? No, right? So what is a catalyst? A chemical substance that increase the rate of a reaction without themselves being used up. You don't use it up. Did you understand? So if I write it, so what is a catalyst? The chemical substance, right? The chemical substance which increase the rate of a reaction without being used up. Without being used up. Is it clear? Did you understand? So remember, catalyst is like a broker, a family broker. What did she do? She brought both of them closer to each other, but she was not used up, right? But she was not used up. So is it clear? Is it clear? Right. So now you say me. So if you have a catalyst, what can you say about the rate of a reaction? Will it be high or will it be less? It will be high, right? So if you have a catalyst, the rate of the reaction will be high. Okay. So if you don't have a catalyst, will the rate of a reaction be high or less? The rate of the reaction will be less, right? The rate of reaction will be less. Another very good example. The main catalyst in your body, inside your body, is enzymes, right? The main catalyst inside your body is enzymes. So what does the enzymes do? They help to digest food, right? They help to break down the food. So this one, if we don't have enzyme, it will take a very long time. But because of the enzyme, it happens faster. Okay, now I'll ask you one doubt, right? So one reaction you study in your unit is H2O2. H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide, right? Hydrogen peroxide. If you, hydrogen peroxide, when you heat it, right? When you heat hydrogen peroxide, it will form water and O2. That is the normal chemical reaction, right? But if you put a catalyst, the catalyst manganese dioxide into this reaction, this will take place very fast, right? Now look, here you have hydrogen peroxide and manganese dioxide. Here you have only hydrogen peroxide, which will occur faster. A or B? Which reaction will occur faster? A or B? Which one? The one which has a catalyst, right? So this one will take place faster, right? Then you say me, now they say you have 2 grams of manganese dioxide. After the reaction, how many grams of manganese dioxide will you have? More than 2 grams? More than 2 grams? Less than 2 grams? Or 2 grams? What is your answer? Which one is your answer? 1, 2, 3. More than 2 grams? Less than 2 grams? 2 grams. Now I am getting all 3 answers. Okay, I'll remind you the definition again. Okay, what is the definition for a catalyst? Now manganese dioxide is a catalyst, right? So what is the definition for a catalyst? A chemical substance that increase the rate of a reaction without themselves being used up. Without themselves being used up. What is your answer now? Without themselves being used up. Can you say the answer now? Third one, 2 gram. At initial also, if you have 2 gram, final also you will have 2 gram. Why? Are you using it? Are you using it? Are you using it? No. So did you understand that? Did you understand that? Any doubt? Any doubt? Right. Let's revise again. Let's revise again. First factor which affect rate of a reaction is whom? Answer me soon. What is the first factor which affect the rate of a reaction? Surface area, right? The first factor which affect rate of a reaction is surface area. So when surface area is high, rate of reaction is high, right? So you should say surface area is high. Then what will happen? Number of collision will be high. So rate of reaction will be high. Next one. So when surface area is less, collision will be less. Rate of reaction will be less, right? So next one, what's the next one? What's the next factor we studied? Very good, temperature. So when the temperature is high, kinetic energy is high or less? Kinetic energy is high or less? High, right? And then number of collisions will be high. So rate of reaction will be high. So if it is less, it will be the opposite. So temperature less, kinetic energy less, collision less, rate of reaction less, right? Then third one, catalyst. So if you have a catalyst, if catalyst is present, rate of reaction is what? Rate of reaction is high. If catalyst is absent, rate of reaction is low. So this is what we have studied up to now. Is it clear? Is it clear? Is it clear? Final one for today. This is the final part I'm going to teach for today. Look, final one, the fourth one, concentration. Right? The fourth one is concentration. Now look, what is concentration? Listen to me. Concentration is, now say you have equal volume. Now you have two substance which has equal volume, right? So in this one, in this volume, you have 9 substances like this. In this, you have only 5, right? So the concentration means the amount of substance present in a particular volume, right? So what is concentration? How many substance you have in a particular volume, right? So what is it? The amount of substance present in a particular volume. So remember this, this is you need for your grade 11 as well. So say with me, what is concentration? The amount of substance means mole, right? Amount of substance is mole. The amount of substance present in a particular volume, right? The amount of substance present in a particular volume. Look at the diagram and say, which has more substance, A or B? Which has more substance? Is it A having more substance or is it B having more substance? Which one is having more substance? A or B? Very good. It's A. A is having more substance. So that means in A, the concentration will be high or low. Now, concentration is the amount of substance. That is amount of substance divided by volume, right? So if the amount of substance is high, if the numerator is high, concentration, will it be high or low? Will it be high or low? It will be high. So here the concentration is high, here the concentration is low. Did you understand that? Did you understand that? Right? Listen again, I'll explain it again. What is concentration? The amount of substance present in a particular volume. In each volume, how much substance you have. So which one have more substance? This. Which one less? This. So here high concentration, low concentration. Right. I'll give you one example. You have a room, the same size room, right? You have a lot of people in a room and you have less people in a room. Where will you have more collision? Bilal, your camera is on. Where will you have more collision? This or this? Where will you have more collision? You have a lot of people in a room and they are moving. Or you have little people in a room and they are moving. Where will you have more collision? The first one or the second one? First one or the second one? Very good. That's correct. So everyone is saying A. Others, are you all agreeing with that? Everyone is saying one is having high collision. High collision. Are you agreeing with that? Okay, good. That's correct. So now say me, if the collision is high, rate of reaction will be high or low. If the collision is high, the rate of reaction will be high or low. High. That's correct. If the collision is less, now when the concentration is less, the collision is less. So if the collision is less, rate of reaction is high or low? Rate of reaction is low. Any doubt? Any doubt? This and all you should understand and study. Huh? Don't try to memorize, just understand and study. Then that's okay. Miss, then do we put catalyst? You use catalyst only for certain reactions, okay? You don't put catalyst for all reactions, okay? Only for certain reactions you put catalyst. Now say for an example, if you have magnesium and hydrochloric acid, did I put a catalyst? Did we put a catalyst here? Did we put a catalyst here? Yes or no? No, we didn't put a catalyst here. Why? Because this reaction normally itself, it is taking place fast, right? Normally itself, this reaction is taking place fast. So when do you use a catalyst is when the reaction is taking place very slowly, right? If that reaction takes place very, very slowly only, you use a catalyst, right? Same like our family mothers, right? First, when they are proposing marriage, they will not use a broker. But after that, after sometimes no marriage coming, broker, this broker, that broker, right? So always a broker is used only when that reaction is not taking place very fast, right? So all reactions, all the things, do you use a broker? No. Always you don't use a broker. So is it clear? Is that clear? So I'll explain this again one more time. What is concentration? You should know the definition. So what is concentration? Amount of substance present in a particular volume. Amount of substance present in a particular volume. So where do you have high amount of substance? Here. Here you have less amount of substance. So here, what can you say about the concentration? The concentration will be high. Then you should think, you have a room full of people, they are trying to move. Okay, the concentration is high. Collision is high or low? Collision is high or low? Collision is high. So when the collision is high, rate of reaction is high or low? Rate of reaction is high. Here, the concentration is less, right? The concentration is less. So the number of collision is high or less? The number of collision is high or less? Less. So rate of reaction would be less. Right. So that's it for today. You should do the questions which is given in the tute, right? So I will give you the answers. I will send the answers in the group which I have added you all in, right? And I think, for the theory class students who are joining or who are coming to my theory class, we will be discussing the questions next week in the theory class. So please make sure you write the answers and come before you come to the next theory class, right? Okay, so thank you for joining the session. It was nice having you all here, right? And see you all. And if you all have any doubt, you can ask me now. You can raise your hand and I can unmute and you can ask me now, right? Yes, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. And if you have no doubts, you can go. Take care. Good night. Walaikum assalam. Bye bye.